Mike's on. Mike's on.
All right, a little after 5 on this summer Friday as you get into really the summer. Now you're into the summer swing, whatever it is you're doing your summer. You're pretty much doing it every day now. That's pretty much what goes on, and doing it every weekend, whether you're heading to the Hamptons or heading to the shore, heading to the mountains, wherever it is you head on these summer weekends. You're probably heading there right now. So, you know what? Enjoy yourself as we move into summer 2018. Harris in Manhattan joins us. What's up, Harris? Harris going once? Not there?
Mike?
Yeah,
Mike?
What's up? Yes.
This is Sonny from Malvern.
Oh, Sonny, go ahead, Sonny. I didn't see you there, but go ahead. What's up?
No problem. I'm heading out to North Fork Laconic Bay Yacht Club tomorrow for weddings. That's going to be a hike. But anyway, I got a Nick point and a Met question. When Sandy was talking about the injuries with Bruce and Cabrera, was he saying no injuries are the same, or basically saying Bruce should be out on the field and seeing how his injury progresses
No,
from
he
there?
said some injuries don't manifest themselves. See, Bruce was a guy who I think they shut down because he was playing poorly. I think he probably, if he was going well, could have played through that injury. I think this was kind of a last resort to give him a rest because
That's
he
what I
wasn't
thought.
playing well. I think what he meant is some guys can play through injuries, and Bruce was playing through his injury just like Cabrera was playing through his injury, while Cespedes can't play through his injury. Cespedes is a guy who worries about what he feels in his legs. He can't play with those injuries. Cabrera's been able to manage his injuries. Bruce was clearly admitted he was playing with a bad back, but I think they finally decided, you know what? The way you're going, maybe the back's the reason. Let's take some days off and see if we can break you out of this slump. I think that's what they were trying to do. Matt in Manhattan. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, hey, Mike. Everybody's talking about the Yankees and trading for starting pitching, but the thing is that, by July 15th, Tanaka's going to be back. They're going to have completed the toughest part of their schedule. I mean, they're the quick of the scheduling. The second half schedule is easy.
Yankees are not trading for starting pitching to make the playoffs. The Yankees are trading for starting pitching for the postseason.
Which of the two, then, out of CC or Tanaka, who do you not want having two starts in a postseason series?
The problem is you don't know. The problem is you can't say which one, and I think you want Tanaka more. But what you might not be able to is you might not have either one of them, which is always a possibility, especially with CC.
Do you think there's a chance that Gray gets moved to bring in a pitcher?
No, I think Gray will be here. I just don't know that he'll get a start in the postseason. That I couldn't guarantee. I think he'll be here this year. I think this is
more. You want to bring in a guy because you can't guarantee.
They want to bring in a guy that they can count on, that they can definitely pitch him in a postseason game. For them to bring in a pitcher who they would not feel that they could start in a postseason game would not make any sense for them. They need to bring in a pitcher.
Go big.
Well, big is relative. It has to be a guy that they believe in, whether he's a young guy, whether he's an older guy, whether he's an in-between guy. It has to be a guy that they can believe on. There's a couple things they have to deal with. They have to deal with the health issues of both CC, who they could give a start to, and I don't think they're afraid to give CC a start in the playoffs. I think they have no issues with giving Tanaka a start in the playoffs, but they worry about his health also. I think right now they don't think they can count on anybody 100% except Severino. I think they feel if Tanaka's healthy, they can give him a start in the postseason. He pitched very well in the postseason last year, but the guy they're bringing in is a guy that they feel they can line up behind Severino in the postseason, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. They don't even have to bring anybody in. They could get by. Now, if they lost another guy, they would still need someone to get past the Red Sox. Right now, they might have enough to be able to battle the Red Sox the way they're going right now without making a change. But they'd like to fortify that, and they'd really like to get somebody that they could start, guarantee they could start in the postseason. Alan Paramus, what's up, Al?
Mike, I never thought the Mets would trade either deGrom or Syndergaard.
Right.
Both those starters are number one, definitely number two starters. So
I think they would trade Syndergaard. I don't think they would ever trade deGrom. I think they would under the right circumstances. Well, I know they do not deem Syndergaard untouchable. I know they do deem deGrom untouchable.
See, when you say, I don't understand why you say that, because if you go
because I know that because I have information that that's how they feel.
Okay, but let me ask you this. If you have a chance, you have two quality position players, two quality starting pitchers, you're going to start by taking the quality pitchers.
But they think differently about the two pitchers.
I mean,
deGrom is a guy held in very high regard on that team by everybody, by the players, by the organization, by the coaches. He is a guy they want to build the team around. They think very highly of him personally, extremely high. He's a leader. He's a big part of their team. That he matters in that regard in a very big way.
But when you talk about Syndergaard, okay, and you can have two quality
right, no, I didn't say they would. We're not arguing that. All I'm telling you is they're not exactly equal. That's all I'm telling you. I'm not telling you that they're not keeping Syndergaard. I think they are. But what I'm telling you is they're not equal.
One is 25, one is 30.
Doesn't matter. I'm just telling you what the truth is. They're just not. They're not regarded as equal. Now, I didn't tell you they're going to trade Syndergaard. I never said they were. I don't think they will.
Okay, well,
but I just told you one is untouchable and one's not.
I think they're both untouchable.
Well, I'm just telling you. You can think what you want. What I gave you is fact. Whether you want to take it or not, I don't care. But I'm just gave it to you what I've been told. Okay, so I told you Syndergaard was not called untouchable. They likely would not trade him. I totally agree, but he's not untouchable. deGrom, they hold in a different regard in that organization. That's the difference. I know the ages. I know everything about both guys. Okay? I'm just telling you how they are perceived in the organization. That's all. Steve in Ronkonkoma. What's up, Steve?
Hey, welcome back, Mike.
Thanks. What's up?
This distraught Met fan here. I can't believe I'm asking, but it's a serious question. What do you think is more likely come September for the Mets? They're still competing for a playoff spot, or Tim Tebow gets an at-bat?
Of those two?
Of those two,
Tim Tebow gets an at-bat. I don't think the Mets will be contending this year. So I think there's no chance. I don't think Tebow's likely. I could not say he wouldn't get an at-bat. I could never say he wouldn't get an at-bat, but I don't know if that's likely. But I don't think the Mets, I think there's virtually no chance this team that's 10 games under 500 will even see 500 again. I don't even think they'll do that.
And you said deGrom is untouchable?
deGrom, yes. As close as anyone can be, he's untouchable, yes. They do not have any issue. They would have to be, well, Sandy just said someone would have to trade their whole list of prospects for him. So what I've been told is they would have to get an offer that was so overwhelming that they could not pass it up. Something outrageous would have to happen. They think very highly. They think very highly about deGrom, very highly. I think what they see their feeling is, okay, the way it has been relayed to me is we have pitching. It is easier to find hitting than it is. We have to have two things happen. Our hitters have to start to hit, and they mean Cespedes, Bruce, Conforto, and we have to go find some more offense. But it's harder to find pitching than it is to find offense, so we're going to go find offense. That was the way it was related.
What does the Met fan have to look forward to over the next few years?
Well, listen, if you took a team and it performed, if you had all the Mets clicking, they're an over 500 team. I mean, if you have Syndergaard, deGrom, Matz, Wheeler, and still have the bullpen as you have now. Like, I think they'll trade Familia, but even having Lugo and having Gesellman, having Wheeler, Matz, having Syndergaard healthy and deGrom, and having Cespedes, Frazier, Conforto, and Bruce and Nimmo all playing well, that team that's a winning baseball team. That's not a losing baseball team.
Do you think we'll see that?
Well, I mean, listen, they've been very unlucky. See, here's the thing. They have gotten nothing out of Bruce, very little out of Conforto, very little out of Frazier, and nothing out of Cespedes. How are you supposed to do that? You're 3, 4, 5, 6 hitters in your lineup. How's that supposed to work? If the Yankees had gotten nothing out of Judge, Stanton, and Sanchez and another player, nothing out of all four, would they have the same record this year? Of course not.
absolutely not.
Well, I mean, that's what the Mets have done. They've had all these guys out for all this time. Bruce has 3 home runs. He had 36 home runs. If Judge had 3 homers right now, instead of what he had, they'd have a different team. Bruce has 3 home runs. He has something like 3 RBIs in his last 115 at-bats. I mean, it's ridiculous. The guy had 36 101 last year. He's got 3 homers. Mike in Clifton Park. What's up, Mike?
Hey, so I'm a Mets fan and a Giant fan. Mm-hmm. And when Reese was kind of on the way out, it seemed, he was rationalizing a lot of his roster choices, especially with the offensive line. And after hearing Sandy, it sounds like he's rationalizing the roster he has in place, and that's why I think he has to go.
Everybody rationalizes their roster.
Yeah, but it's just so bad. I mean, and I feel bad for Callaway because his job was to straighten out the starters 3, 4, and 5, and for like a good 5 weeks, they've been pretty decent, and they've got nothing.
For 1 month, they're best. For the last month, going into not counting the last 4 games in Colorado. Before that, for the last 28 games, the Mets had the number 1 starting pitching in baseball.
That's right.
For 28 days, they had the best. A lot of it being deGrom, but they had the best starting pitching in baseball.
Yeah, and in that respect, I think Callaway.
Yeah, but he has not been a good manager, though. I'm sorry, he has not been in any way. He has not in any way held the Mets players' feet to the fire, and his game decisions have been bizarre. I'm sorry, they've been bizarre. I mean, listen, but I'm not. Listen, he no one would be winning with this team. Yeah, you can't. But the one thing is, the Mets are just flat unlucky a lot of the time. If Cespedes was there all year and Bruce was having the year we all thought he'd have, I mean, Bruce, there was no indication that Bruce wouldn't perform after last year. I mean, Bruce last year had played very well for both teams. I mean, so why would he not play well? I mean, why would that be the case? And he had 36 home runs last year.
Right. But with the situation now, don't you think someone should, like a new person needs to come in and reevaluate everything from the GM
Well, listen,
point of view?
if you want a new GM, I don't think that's outrageous. I don't think that's unfair. I think it's if you need a new guy in the GM spot, I don't think that's an outrageous claim. I really don't. I think that's fair from a Mets standpoint. If you want to have someone else do the job, or have some new guys in that spot, so maybe a new young general manager, that's not an outrageous claim from a Met fan. I can understand that. You can think that Sandy's run his course here. Absolutely. I don't think that's unfair at all. Billy in Bay Ridge, what's up, Billy?
Hey, Mike. On that Alderson thing about Jason deGrom.
Yeah.
If he's highly regarded, why don't they pay him?
Well, they don't have to pay him yet.
But that's not the point. The point is, if you like the guy so much and you want to keep him, why don't you reward him in some way?
Well, who says they won't?
Oh, I don't know that, but I'm just saying the way
they're not going to let him go anywhere. But you don't have to pay a guy till you have to pay him. I mean, the baseball works that way. There comes a point when you have to.
Loyalty?
Well, he's being paid well. Listen, the way baseball works is the clubs have the hammer for a while, and then the player has the hammer for the rest of his career if he's good. deGrom's going to get all his money. It's not a question of that. They will give him his money. He will be paid. They paid Cespedes. They'll pay deGrom. What they do is they utilize the years that go in their favor. The years that do, they take it, and then when they don't, they pay the player. That's all. Now, can you pay a guy earlier? Yeah, but I'm telling you something. If you pay that player earlier, he's not going to turn around and give you a discount later. He's not going to do it. You're still going to have to pay him. And the players wind up with the hammer. Once they're good, they wind up with the hammer. Look at Cano, Seattle. And I don't know what Seattle's going to do, but I'll tell you this about Seattle. Cano, who is 35, has 5 more years after this year at $24 million a year. So if they're thinking about something else, where are they going to send Cano at 36? He's 35 now. Where are you going to send Cano at 36, making 5 more years? He's got $120 million guaranteed to him. $120 million. So they're saying, well, we're not going to play him. We're going to play Gordon. Okay, well, what are you going to do with this guy? So in later in his careers, good players always have the hammer late. Look at Miguel Cabrera right now. He's been a great player. He's a Hall of Fame player. You see what he's getting paid now? I mean, he's getting paid $30-something million. And his numbers aren't up for that. So early on, the club gets an advantage, and late the players always get an advantage. If they've had the good run, the big players, they always get paid a couple of years late in these contracts when they are on the downside. It happens all the time. It's really how it works. They give on the upside, they get it on the downside. Joe in Bloomfield, what's up, Joe?
Yeah, CC Sabathia is another good example of that.
Everybody does.
Contract.
Everybody does. Yep. Every guy does.
Two quick Yankee questions for you. Number one, if this was Sonny Gray's contract year, would you re-sign him?
No.
Question two, what do you think of Dallas Keuchel as a potential target for free agency next year for the Yankees?
Not off this year.
Well, yeah, but I'm thinking this year is a fluke.
Well, I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. I mean, I'd have to hear what the kind of money is talking about. I mean, am I going to get a discount off this year? I mean, I'd have to look and see what we're talking about as far as that goes. Mark in Bronxville, what's up, Mark? Yes, Mark. Mark going once. Going twice? Yes, Mark, go ahead.
Oh, I'm amazed. Why do the Yankee and Met fans keep calling in asking about this trade that's never going to happen?
Well, the Yankee fan is hopeful.
The Yankee fan is realistic. They're not going to give up anyone that, they're not going to give up their top prospect.
Well, a lot of the Yankee fans keep calling about deGrom too, though. So, I mean, they do call about him because they covet him, but they're not going to get him.
Of course not. So,
right.
It's like I can't believe you're still fielding calls.
Well, I'm not. I haven't failed in a while because I've said on this show for a long time now that deGrom is not the Mets aren't trading deGrom, which I've been stating for a while now. And now you've heard everywhere from them. Yes.
Syndergaard might be a better.
I don't think he'll be traded either, but he could be traded. The other guy's not being traded.
Right. No, absolutely not deGrom. Syndergaard should not be traded because he's a kid. And, there's a lot of upside to him. Right. But what are the Yankee fans? And I'm a Yankee fan. What are we thinking that we're going to give up the whole house to get these guys?
No, it's not going to happen. And Cash has already stated that he would not trade Torres under any circumstances. He's already stated that. They've all drawn their lines in the sand. The Mets have drawn their lines in the sand about their big pitches, and the Yankees have already stated they wouldn't trade Syndergaard. Wouldn't trade Torres, and it's going to get more reluctant to trade here. But the Yankee fan's funny. He doesn't want to trade Torres, of course. Now he doesn't want to trade Andujar, and a couple more hits. They won't want to trade Frazier. But I want a big pitcher. And what are you going to give up? Plaid stamps? I mean, where are you getting these guys for? I mean, Frazier didn't have a position here. He gets a couple of line drives. Everybody, I can't trade Frazier. He's hitting 375. Anthony in Staten Island. What's up, Anthony?
Hey, what's up, Mike? Two things about the Mets. I think there's two moves that they need to make, and I think next year they'll be right back. One is call Jeter, try to get that catcher, Realmuto.
They won't trade him. I mean, they want a lot for him. They want a lot for him.
Well, all these past years with the Mets great so-and-so pitchers, they never had a legit catcher.
I agree, but the Mets actually went after Realmuto. They couldn't get him.
And how about making the Piazza type splash with Machado? Let him play short, trade Rosario, or move him to second. Cespedes could use.
I don't think that. Listen, I understand why, as a Met fan, you'd like to see that move. I don't see them doing it, and I just don't see Machado with all his options wanting to play for the Mets. I think there's a lot of places. The other thing to remember is Machado plays. I'll tell you the hot rumor. The hot rumor is that Machado, the Orioles have been talking seriously with Arizona. A package that he would be traded to Arizona has been the hot rumor I heard was that the Orioles were in conversations with Arizona about Machado. That's the team I heard. Back after this.